Here are the 21 books I read in the month of May. Hi, my name is Talia, and welcome back to my channel. So I know in that last, full-length YouTube video, not a short, I said I am back for good. I am going to be consistent, and it's been a whole month. I'm back for real, because one, I really love doing long form content on YouTube. And I think YouTube is where I want to put most of my lifestyle content, being a 35-year-old single homeowner in the DC area. YouTube is where that type of content will, be best. And I like to talk, so this is the place for longer form video. Let's talk about my May reading wrap up. This video is also a little bit late. I like doing my reading wrap ups either the last day of the month or the first day of the month, but today is May 6th. Not May, June. Oh my goodness. It is June 6th. And this video will probably go up later today because, yeah. Anyways, I was busy last weekend. I was having the time of my life at the inaugural Black Book Romance Fest in Atlanta. I had such a good time. And if you follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads especially, because that is where I'm sharing most of my photos and low-key real time. So if you've been following me on Threads, you've seen all the photos from the meet and greet, all the authors I met, all the other book content creators I got to meet or see again. It was a time. 2026 is going to be a movie. We're going to be in a bigger hotel. It's going to be more people. Tickets go on sale in August. May the odds be forever in your favor. I think what I'm most excited about doing this recap is that I want to say at least half of the authors in my May reading wrap up were also at BRBF. So I got a story for everyone. Okay. So we're doing a lot of story times in this video. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. For the book facts, and I like sharing the book facts because I like to demystify, how much I read, although reading is not a race and you should not be comparing your reading journey to another person's. What's most important is that you're engaging with literature and you're reading what you like. Okay, so I might read 21 books a month. It don't matter. It really don't matter. Not to you, at least. 11 of the 21 books I read this month were audiobooks. 13 of the 21 books were novelettes or novellas. So we're talking 120 to 150 pages or less. And then just so y'all know, 2 of the books are non-romance. I do read outside of romance. I mostly read romance. But listen, there are other genres. So I'm going to do all the romance and erotica books first in alphabetical order, and then all of the non-romance books in alphabetical order. And for every book that I'm about to talk about, it is listed in the description, the title, the author. If it's a part of a series, I'm telling you what book in the series it is. And I'm telling you whether it's an ebook or an audiobook. And if I got it from an author website, from Audible, from Libby, what have you. Okay? So you shouldn't have questions around that. Let me know what you read this month in the comments. First book is The Off-Season, a Skyhawks and Friends mini by Alexandra Warren. This was a website exclusive that dropped in May. And I'm like, sign me up, because I love the Skyhawks series. The Houston Skyhawks series, I love it. I'm a fan of Alexandra Warren. She is actually going to be at the house party in Charlotte next month, and I'm going to be there as an ambassador. The Off-Season is a second chance. Let's say second chance. And it's a novelette. Very short, okay, all you need is 90 minutes, not even 90 minutes, okay? But this is in the Skyhawks universe, so you're going to see familiar faces. Our FMC and our MMC, they were in a situationship. Now they've run into each other a little bit later. And yeah, what was good. Oh, and if you're interested in the house party, because it is not sold out. Okay, you see how we partied at BRBF? Baby, the house party, yeah, it's a smaller scale event, but anyone I've talked to about the house party. Next book is Group Trip by Aubrée Days. This is also a new release and a website exclusive. Baby, this is too spicy for Amazon. Aubrée Days was like, if I upload this to Amazon, I'm going to get in trouble. Okay. Love Aubrée Days. I love the queer representation in her books. I love how she deviates from boring heteronormativity right? Monogamy is, whatever. And I did meet Aria Days at BRBF. Very nice. Everyone was nice. Everyone was nice. I didn't have the chance to get in her line and get some books. And honestly, I don't know what books I would have gotten. I wanted Locked Up. I loved Locked Up. And I need that to be like a fuller story. I would have gotten a copy of Locked Up. Y'all know I'm not a physical reader, so I should not have been buying as many books at BRBF as I did. And my boxes, plural, are going to be delivered tomorrow. You're going to see the BRBF Black Romance Book Fest haul next week. Next two books are by Aubrée Pynn. I want to say Aubrée Pynn is going to be at Behind the City in New York in August, which is sold out, so I won't link that in the description. But I need to meet Aubrée Pynn. I love her work. This month, I read Homecoming Season, a Ganton Hills A&M University novella, and read a Ganton Hills novella. So both of these are in the Ganton Hills universe. First book, Homecoming Season, is homecoming. The crew is getting back together, and our FMC and our MMC are within that crew. They're kind of in the same industry, so that's kind of a point of conflict for them. But baby, they've liked each other, loved each other since back in the day. And Red is kind of like an insta love. Okay, I love a man who looks at a girl and is like, you're mine. This is it for me. I very much enjoy insta love. It's giving chance encounters for a good chunk of this novella. And, our FMC, she's dealing with a lot. She has a lot of trauma. I got you. With me, there are no worries. And both of these Aubrée Pynn books I found via audiobook on Audible. I wasn't able to find them anywhere else. So I don't think it's an exclusive, but I only found it on Audible. Honestly, I didn't go look on the author's website, but I got them off of Audible. Next book is Turn Me Out, Book 2, An Erotic Love Language by Briyanna. So I've been read Erotic Love Language years ago, one of my favorite novella series. Each book centers around a holiday and a love language. In Book 2, it's Valentine's Day or Galentine's and physical touch. Falon and Amber are in the same friend group, and baby, there's been vibes. So like I said, already read this book in physical, but Briyanna has been rolling out the audiobooks for this. If you've listened to Talk to Me Nicely, you know how good that book was. One of the best audiobooks I've listened to, period. But definitely this year. These are the voices I like to hear. Sexy, spicy, sound effects. Do not listen to this around people you want to respect you. This is something you listen to with headphones on in the privacy of your home, with the door locked, walls padded. You don't need people knowing what you be listening to. Speaking of Briyanna, I think one of the funnier stories from Black Romance Book Fest. So at Black Romance Book Fest, basically all day there's book signings in the signing room, and the authors go in shifts and all of that. Baby, it is chaos in there. It's Saturday. I decide I want to get my copy of Here With You Forever signed, right? Packing for BRBF. I was like, which books am I bringing down to get signed? And Here With You Forever makes the cut. I'm like, I cannot bring all 3 books in the Evermore series. Let me bring my favorite. Let me bring book 2. I'm threading this as I'm packing, getting ready for the weekend. And Briyanna is like, make sure, she replied to me, make sure that the books are not already signed. Make sure these books are not already signed. If you got it from my website, make sure the books are not already signed. Baby, I don't listen. I bring Here With You Forever to Atlanta anyway. So I decided to get in the Briyanna line because I'm like, I want to get Here With You Forever signed. And I have a little bit of time, a little bit of breathing room. Let me stand in this line. Baby, Briyanna's line was pretty long. It was pretty long. And it was next to the Jahquel J line. So it was just too much going on the left side of that room Saturday afternoon. Because Jahquel J's line was from here to Timbuktu. People were getting in Jahquel J's line 3 hours early. So the signings would start at 9 a.m. People were in that line 6:30. It was that serious. Anyways, that side of the room has too much activity because you literally have Jahquel J's line Briyanna's line. And then that next long line is Kimberly Brown's. Baby, we needed room. Anyways, I stand in this line for like 35, 40 minutes. And it comes back to me that Briyanna said on Threads, make sure the book is not already signed. Baby, I opened the inside cover of the book. It is signed. And I'm like, I just stood in this line for 35, 40 minutes. And, you know, it ain't no problem. I got the key with the girls in the line. I was probably one of the bigger influencers at BRBF. So if anything, I'm standing in the line, people are walking past and they're like, are you Talia? I love a list. Can we take a picture? Da-da-da. Like, so I was plenty busy. The minute I knew it was signed, I'm like, I'm leaving. I am leaving. But I did actually get to meet Briyanna, I want to say later that night, waiting for the elevator. Next book is Maybe I Love You. This is book 2 in Undeniably in Love by Briyanna Michelle. This is a relatively new release. I want to say this book came out in April. Ooh, Donovan. Talia's book boyfriend Hall of Fame. He is being inducted and he is towards the top. This book is a friend's best friends to lovers. And Donovan is book boyfriend Hall of Fame, not only because of him like loving Ivory the way she deserves to be loved, but there is a way that Donovan speaks, dialogues, banters, talks you through it. Okay. Donovan got the words, and the way he was talking to Ivory, I was like, ooh. If someone was speaking to me the way that Donovan was speaking to Ivory, I would literally self-combust. Briyanna Michelle was also at BRBF, and baby, she was the life of the party. Anytime there was music, Briyanna was on the dance floor. Such a bright light. Energy is amazing. I kept running into Briyanna the entire weekend, but we finally got our selfie as I was leaving the hotel heading to the airport on Sunday. And I think I am going to go to St. Louis for Petals and Prose, which is a St. Louis book event hosted by A. Blossom and Briyanna Michelle. You've heard me talk about both. That is happening on May 2nd in St. Louis. So I think I'm going to spend the weekend in St. Louis. Tickets aren't out yet, but I did sign up for the listserv. So I will get that notification when I get it. Next book is Friction Touch. This is book 1 in the Reverie series by Christina C. Jones. You know how we feel about Christina C. Jones. One of my favorite authors, one of my most read authors. Christina doesn't do a lot of the book events, but she's coming back outside this summer just for us. It's been years since she's been at a book event. She's going to be at Indie Love in Atlanta in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then she's going to be at the house party. Anyways, this is a new series by Christina C. Jones. I got this ebook exclusively off her website. It will eventually make it to Kindle, but why wait? This series is set in Las Vegas, and if you are familiar with like Annie Up and the other book in the series, I'm forgetting the name. I read them though. I read them both, but it's around Reverie, the casino, all of that. You're familiar. Okay. A lot of those characters are showing up in Reverie. You have our FMC, who is like the main bottle girl, the bottle girl at this nightclub, and she is looking to, you know, pivot in her career. And then you have a very famous boxer who is also kind of in the Reverie orbit, and it's giving magical realism. It's giving faded a little bit. I think these two are faded. It was so good, and I cannot wait for the rest of this series. Next 2 books are by Danielle Brooks. First one, Rings, which is book 3 in Belafonte and Friends. This is the conclusion, or the seeming conclusion. Damien and Desney have to get it together. It's a journey. Okay. And Just a Taste was a novelette, and this is in the Fire Company 143 universe. So it's giving Lovey's Bay. And y'all remember in the second book in Lovey's Bay in Fire Company 143, where Fallon's best friend comes to visit, and she has a little thing with the restaurant owner, the chef, when they go out to get lunch. It's them. It's them. Danielle Brooks was also at Black Romance Book Fest. I finally got to meet her. I interviewed her on Talia's Book Nook back in April, but to meet authors in real life is always wonderful. I picked up my pre-order from her on Sunday. Last pre-order I had to pick up, I got books 1 and 2 in the Fire Company 143 series. Next is The First Family, book 2 in the Drew Collins series by Granger. This released on audiobook, I want to say last month. Who Killed Hillary? And this university is just a mess. It is a mess. If this was real life, they would have been lose their accreditation. They are running a fucking muck at Drew Collins University. Book 2 is really an inside look on The First Family. And I put that in quotation marks because you finna find out. Next 2 books are by Jahquel J. Cappadonna 2.5. The audiobook for that came out earlier in May. Listen to it immediately. And then 10,000 Hours with a Rich Menace also dropped exclusively on Audible. So baby, I was tapped in because y'all kept talking about 10,000 hours. And I'm like, I want to be in the number. The audiobook finally came out for that. So y'all already know what it is with Cappadonna. We going to Islam. We going to Islam. You already know. So that story is continuing. And then 10,000 Hours with a Rich Menace was so good. It was so good. I really enjoyed it. I don't want to say who was and wasn't the most popular authors at BRBF. But if it wasn't Kennedy Ryan and if it wasn't Tia Williams, it was Jahquel J. And I think that's a very big deal for an independent author. Like I told y'all, people were getting in the signing line for Jahquel J 3 hours before the signing rooms opened. When Jahquel J walked to the signing room on Saturday, I happened to be there. Baby, the fanfare. You would think it was the Beatles, Beyonce, Usher. Like, it was that crazy. I did not get to meet Jahquel J, and that was kind of on purpose because she's going to be at the house party in Charlotte, and it's a smaller event. So I'm going to meet Jahquel J in Charlotte. A lot of the authors who are appearing at events I'm going to be at later this year, I did not prioritize, getting in their signing lines or buying their books or even trying to meet them. I'm like, I'm going to see you later. Next book is The Unhinged Best Man, a novella by M. Monique. This is a follow-up to The Hood Flower Girl. I read this ebook on Kindle. Y'all, the MMCs in this series, they do not play. They are coming so hard behind the FMCs. So hard. Boston is not playing. And M. Monique, she was one of my favorite people at Black Romance Book Fest this past weekend. She was obviously there as an author. Listen, the lines were long for M. Monique, but M. Monique was like, listen, I'm a reader too. I'm a fan too. Okay. I don't even think I saw M. Monique at her table during the signings. M. Monique was trying to meet the people. I think M. Monique came up to me and was like, hi, I'm M. Monique, such a fan. Da, da, da. I'm like, girl, me? Honored, humbled, and her energy was so good. Next book is I Effed Somebody's Wife by Monet Paris. This is my first read of the author. I actually learned about this book on Threads from my good mutual who I met in real life for the first time during Black Romance Book Fest, Brandy of Easter Pink Sprite. She did an amazing job moderating panels throughout the weekend. Brandy is so nice, so sweet. But yeah, she was talking about this book on Threads, and I'm like, I'm intrigued. What you mean I F somebody's wife? He did not care about that husband. Fuck the husband. Next 3 books are in the Friends and Lovers series by Nicole Falls. F and Fall in Love, F Around and Find Out, and F with Your Boy. This series centers, I guess, not a friend group, but everyone is connected and is very much giving like FWB, First Night Stands to Lovers, all 3 of these books, right? These people are like, let's get it in. It's not going to be serious, da, 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 da. And then they fall in love. Books 1 and 2, I listened to on Audible. I don't know if they're exclusives, but that's where I found them. And book 3, I didn't want to wait for the audiobook to drop, so I just read it on KU. Nicole Falls is also going to be at the house party. I placed my pre-order yesterday for all 3 of these books. Cannot wait to meet Nicole Falls. Next book is Velvet Secrets by T. Lynn, who was at Black Romance Book Fest, but I think she was only there on Saturday, and I did not get a chance to meet her or stand in her line. Had I had the chance to do so, I would have bought the entire Armani Sisters series in physical. Velvet Secrets is an intro to one of her new series. This dropped last month. Velvet Secrets, woo! This MMC is being inducted into Talia's Book Boyfriend Hall of Fame because my favorite type of MMC is the MMC who's like, listen, I know you're a boss. I know you're a boss. You have to be a boss. You have no choice to be a boss. But baby, when it's me and you, I'm the boss. I'm the captain now. That is my favorite type of MMC. That's it for adult romance and erotica. Next book is Aubrée and Bash Are Just Friends by Tia Williams. This is a YA romance that released in May. I listened to the audiobook from the Libro.fm ALC influencer program. Y'all know how I feel about Tia Williams. Tia Williams is the reason I got back into reading. 7 Days in June changed my life. Not only as a reader, but as a creator, because had it not been for that book, we would not be talking for 30 minutes about Black romance books the way that we are right now. I did get to see Tia Williams during her book tour in DC. She's actually from the DMV, by the way. Anyways, I went to the DC stop of the tour. I got to meet her in real life for the first time. Funny story, because I got to tell you another Tia Williams story. Anyways, great event with her and Nikki Payne, whose next book is coming out in September, by the way. Great conversation. I'm standing in the line to, take my picture, get my book signed. And I walk up to Tia Williams and she gives me like one of these, like, do I know you? Do I know you? And I'm like, I don't know. Right. And I never want to be presumptuous and delusional and be like, yeah, I'm a relatively famous Black book influencer. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I don't want to ever be that. But I was like, I don't know. Maybe from online. Anyways, I give her a hug. We take our picture and baby, I start getting choked up because I have to tell Tia Williams how 7 Days in June has changed my life, how it got me back into reading. Right. So here I am at this book event where I am very much recognized. Right. I can't even go to like book events like incognito anymore because I get recognized at the book events especially. So I'm crying, tearing up, talking about Tia Williams. You changed my life. You changed my life. So Aubrée and Bash Are Just Friends is kind of a follow-up to 7 Days in June, but it's a standalone. You don't have to read 7 Days in June. Why wouldn't you read 7 Days in June? You need to work that out with your therapist. But this is about Aubrée. It is 4 years later. Aubrée is 16 years old. This is the summer before her senior year. Y'all know Aubrée. Aubrée don't fucking play. She is high achieving. She's on her ish. She is the child that you wish you had, the one you don't have to worry about. And all of that pressure is getting to Aubrée. Aubrée realizes that, you know what? I get to make mistakes and I don't have to be perfect. And I love that for her. And that definitely heals something in a lot of Black women's inner child or inner children. So it was a beautiful story. Of course, we get bits of Eva and Shane, but we see them in a different light now, right? This is not the hot, steamy summer rendezvous that we saw in 7 Days in June. Like, they're parents now. They're about to get married. Like this, they are different. And from the lens and perspective of a teenager, they're different. Right? That's her mom. That's her stepdad. Love Sebastian. I think Sebastian is one of the more important Black YA male characters I've seen in literature. I think it is very important for Black children to read a character like Bash and to know that you don't have to fit into this box. So Black Romance Book Fest. Tia Williams is one of the keynotes. She's also doing signings. She's also on other panels. And I bought down my copy of 7 Days in June because I forgot to bring it to the Aubrée and Bash Are Just Friends book tour here in DC. But I'm like, I need to get this book signed. I wanted to bring all my Tia Williams books down to Atlanta, but I only ended up bringing one. And I'm like, I need to bring the most important one of the most important books in my life. I need to bring it to get signed. Baby, them Tia Williams lines was from here to Moscow. Okay? I had no time for that. As a creator who was getting stopped every 2 feet, I had no time to stand in the Tia Williams line. So I think I go into Sunday kind of like being like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to get my copy signed. It's just too many people want to see her. Right. And I've already met her. I'm not greedy like that. I am not greedy. I literally met her 2 weeks ago. So it would be nice to get this book signed, but it doesn't have to be signed. Anyways, Sunday morning, final day of BRBF. I'm rushing to get downstairs. I wanted to get downstairs like 30 minutes earlier. I get onto the elevator and I'm not looking up. I'm like looking in my phone, in my purse. I get into the elevator. I'm preoccupied with other things. And I hear a hello, Talia. Hello, Talia. I look up and it is Tia fucking Williams. And I was smart. I said, I may not see Tia Williams today, but let me keep 7 Days in June in my Telfar just in case I have like a chance encounter. And baby, I had my chance encounter. I'm like, hey, Tia girl, we give each other a hug. How you doing? What are you doing this morning? She's like, oh, I'm going to my keynote. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just trying to get book signed and to pick up my pre-orders. And she's like, it's good seeing you. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, Tia, I have my copy of 7 Days in June. Will you sign it? Baby, it's like 8:58. She got to be at the keynote at 9 a.m. And she's like, okay, walk with me. And I'm like, I only have a Sharpie. Is that okay? She's like, if it's okay with you. So I got my copy signed. Next book is King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. This book is out on June 10th, so on Tuesday. And I got an advanced audiobook copy via NetGalley. I got approved by Macmillan to listen to the audiobook in advance. So if you've been reading S.A. Cosby, if you're familiar with his catalog, whatever you thought your favorite S.A. Cosby book is, it's not that anymore after you read King of Ashes. In my opinion, this is S.A. Cosby's best work to date. And I'm not just hyping it. I'm not. This is S.A. Cosby's best work. Our main character, Roman, is a high-powered financial advisor living in Atlanta, and he has to go home to Virginia for a family emergency, and what would otherwise be a quick trip is no longer. This book is about a family, and this is about the toll that grief and secrets takes on families. I'm going to leave it at that. Last but not least is Matriarch, a memoir by my good friend. You saw the picture. Go to Instagram to see the picture. By Tina Knowles. So I actually started reading this book in April. I started listening to the audiobook on Spotify Premium. However, you know that Spotify only gives you, how many hours? 15 hours a month. And I had already used like 8 of them listening to other stuff. So I only got to listen to 7 hours in April. And I was like, I'm going to use the rest of my Spotify hours in May to listen to the rest of the book, because the audiobook is phenomenal because Tina Knowles is narrating it herself. I get lucky on Libby. I got one of those like skip the line things. What I really like about this memoir is that it's not so much about her children. Do not go into this thinking, oh, I'm going to get all the tea on Beyonce and Solange. And you learn a lot about Beyonce and Solange through her mother's perspective, but don't go into this book thinking it's about Beyonce. No. Okay. We don't get to Beyonce until like 40% of the book. Tina Knowles has lived a life. Tina Beyonce, badass Teeny B, has lived a life. And I really appreciate her chronicling her life. So that's it for my reading wrap up. Thank you if you watched the entire thing, because you didn't have to. See you for the next one. Bye.